Hey guys, what's up? It's Blender3danimator here, and on today's tutorial we are going to be going over particles in Blender. So why don't we get started real quick? We have a pretty decent amount of information to cover. So delete your default cube, X, space, add mesh plane, go down here to your editing tab, particle tab, add new particle system. So now you have all these different objects, and you're probably starting to become overwhelmed. You know, it's a lot of stuff to take in over 3 seconds. So just examine it out. You can pause the video a second, just look around, and alright, so now what you're going to do is rotate your plane a bit and press Alt-A. You see some particles appear, and then bouncing around, and boom, they're gone. What the heck was that? That was dumb. So time to increase your normal, increase your random, Alt-A. Now it comes off the plane. Now I'll explain to you what we just did. We just increased the initial velocity for the normal initial velocity and the random initial velocity. The initial velocity is the speed that the particles come up off of the plane. So if we have a lot of normals, that means a bunch of particles that are going straight up normally from the plane are going to be traveling at a very high speed. If we increase the randoms, there's going to be a lot of randoms flying out really fast. That's not very neat. So if you go to like a front view, you take all the random off and increase the normal, no particle should go past these two lines because that's where the edges of the plane are. As you see, none go past because it's all normal. If you decrease all your normal back to 0 and increase your random, I don't care how much, that's just ridiculous. So now if you want you know, a bit of normal going on and a bit of random, so you have, you know, a decent amount, you can even increase it more. Kind of like that, pretty decent. Well, you're probably thinking, well, what the heck? I want more particles. Well, increase your amount. You don't need to increase to 17,000, but it'll be a crap load of particles, and it gives a nice, real thick effect. You know, a lot of particles, like, you know, something crazy. And you can decrease that back down to whatever you'd like. Also, you can random and even, which means it'll emit randomly and evenly. Alt-A. Now you have a bit more of like a messy look. You can also emit it just from the vertices, which are the corners. Kind of cool for like if you're doing a firework, if you decrease your random. And then like that spins or something. They even look like mini tornadoes. Volume, this doesn't really have volume, but it's the same as just taking it off a face because it only has one face. This is the starting frame that your particles start at. That's the ending frame, and that's how many frames your particles last. So say I want it to last 250 frames, so they just keep on coming and coming. Alt-A. The first particles that came out are going to last all the way through the animation, which are at the top here. Now our particle animation stopped emitting particles at frame 100. So you're not going to see any more coming, so it's like a big nice cloud. Actually a pretty cool effect. It's an interesting effect. You also can add physics to your particles by going to your front view, space, add mesh plane, size it up as much as you want, grab it on the Z-axis down just a bit, not much, go into wireframe and select this, go down here, and this will be the gravity, negative 9.81 on the Z-axis. Now, animate. Whoops, I'm sorry. I forgot the most important step. Select your bottom plane, physics tab, collision, particle interaction, damping, 0.7, friction, 1. Now select this, Alt-A. Now your particles actually fall off your plane and bounce back down onto your bottom plane. Now let me explain to you what dampening and friction are. Damping is how much energy the particle loses. So if you have it really low, the particles are going to sustain a lot of energy, and they're going to bounce. They're going to keep on like bouncing. See, they bounce back up. If we have damping all the way up, they're not going to bounce at all. They just drop. They don't bounce. They just stick there and stay there. If you have damping at 0, they just never stop bouncing. And they just keep on going and going and going, and they'll never stop. So point 7 is a decent one. Friction is, say you have two objects, like your hand and a desk. Well, if you don't push very hard, your hand slides across easily. That's very little friction. But if you push hard and your hand sliding across a carpet, it's going to be harder to push because there's friction between your hand and the carpet, which is pretty much an invisible force that keeps an object from moving. So if you have, that's why cars, their tires need friction. It's kind of a simple way to explain it. So if you had less friction here, they'd kind of slide across, and it wouldn't really matter, and they wouldn't kind of stay in that pile. And if there was 0 friction, they wouldn't stay in a fully rectangular pile. You'd have a couple that would bounce out since they're coming out relatively even. We'll put it back to 1, and if you want this more like a fountain, you increase the normal way up. Now it'll shoot up and fall back down. And it's like a big fountain. And then they kind of bounce and finally stop at the end. That's kind of an example of some particles with some physics. You can even make like effects where it's just one spurt of particles like this. Your starting frame and your ending frame are on the same frame. Frame 100. And here we go. Boom. Just explodes like a frame. Now say you had your random up a lot. Now watch when you hit frame 100. Because it starts and ends at frame 100. So it only emits particles at frame 100. It's like a firework. Boom. Pretty cool effect. I kind of like that effect actually. So you can really mess around with this stuff. You can even make the gravity so it's very, very low, and your particles probably won't come back down for a long time anyway. See, they kind of keep going and going, and it takes a while for them to finally start coming back down. But if you have it kind of like just like a big thing of like a single rectangle shooting up, if you only have your normals increased and no random, like this, see, it just goes up, and gravity's so low that it just floats down very slowly. So, I mean, that's an example. So, anyway, let's hit escape to get out of that. Hope that helped you guys out. Our next tutorial is going to be on soft bodies and cloths. I hope you guys have enjoyed my tutorial so far. I hope to see some video responses. I want video responses and tutorial requests. PM me, private message me, comment, rate, give me some good stuff. I want to help you guys out, and I want you guys to post some video responses, and I'll see what what's going on with you guys. So this is Blender 3D Animator signing out.